Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Kenya.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
Well.
Well.
Look what the cat dragged in.
What did the cat drag in?
You.
Why me? Why couldn't the cat drag you in?
Because I'm the one who said it.
So just because you said it, then I have to be dragged in?
You're going to be dragged today.
I'm going to be dragged today. That was for Leah.
Oh,
She's behind. She's behind. Hold on. She's behind listening to our episodes. So by the time she gets to this,
I made her laugh already. I can hear her sending me a voice note with her unable to speak because she's laughing so much.
She's behind on listening to our episodes.
She is. Oh, yeah. So she's not going to get this for a while.
Right. So when she gets back to this episode, she's going to be like, why me?
Why me?
What are you talking?
Why are you winking?
What are you talking about?
Bro, but speaking of something very serious, she really has a terrible, terrible memory. Terrible memory. You know, everybody has. You forgot something. Something happened, right? That's totally normal. She's on another level. She's on a level that we're all like, no, not we're all. Some, I think, may be a little concerned.
Why her?
I'll tell you. And others are like, nah, it's normal. I may be the only one concerned, actually. Let's clarify, okay? But if I told you something...
Concerned for her...
For her mental.
Oh, okay.
Okay? If I told you something that happened 5-6 years ago, right? That was a predominant thing that we would do. You would remember that, right? She has no memory of it whatsoever.
Hold on. Let's be fair, though. There are times where you will recall because you have what they call a memory of an elephant. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Somebody made that up a long time ago.
Right. Memory of an elephant.
Oh, I think it's because elephants go back to wherever it is that they left from when they migrate. Is
that what it is?
Yeah.
Hold on.
You know, I got a little feedback on this.
On the Google?
I would love to have a poll to see what most people think. But I did get a little feedback that it's a little distracting when you grab your phone to do that. And someone defended you and said, well, that's his thing, you know. So I'm interested to see if people do find it to be distracting or not.
Well, we're using it. It's all for information.
I think it's distracting when it takes a while for you to find what you're looking for, and then we just go silent.
Well, Google...
Which I do that on purpose.
Google... Yeah, I know you do. Google's not as fast always. Oh, this is an AI overview.
By the way, so wrong. So many mistakes that I have found.
I know.
For example, I asked if Freddie Freeman was going to be playing on Thursday night. And it said, yes, Freddie Freeman's in the lineup against the Diamondbacks.
No,
And I was like, exactly. That was my face. I was like, how behind are you?
Yeah, they probably were thinking the week before.
How behind are you?
All right, here we go. Ready? So elephants possess remarkable memories, often being referred to having a memory of an elephant. This phrase is not just a saying, but it reflects scientific observations of their impressive recall and recognition abilities. And I just clicked on something. I don't know what I clicked on. Oh, they can remember locations, social relationships, and even individual elephants or humans after long periods of separation. It says, one more thing. Sorry. While elephants have impressive memories, it is important to note that they are not perfect and can forget things from time to time, like any other animal. However, their memory is a significant factor in their survival and social behavior, allowing them to navigate complex environments and social structures effectively. Even AI had to give them an excuse for forgetting something.
No. So, with memory, right? You just said that I have memory like that. Just to interject, I do find that maybe everyone has a little something with their memory in terms of like, this is your superpower. Maybe. I don't know. I figured that everybody has something, right? Some people are very good at recalling faces. Some people are very good at recalling names, whatever it is, right? I feel that I'm a ridiculously good at recalling the placement of words. Okay. So if you were to give me a multiple choice test and you allow me to look through the questions, right? I'm going to recall where the answer was. So I don't need to exactly recall what the answer is, right? I can just recall where it was. So it isn't that, ooh, I
But
learned
okay,
something like in Matrix and it's like, oh, I just read this once and now I have the knowledge of it. No, I just remember where it was.
well,
I
you
just
can,
need the
yeah,
first
because
couple
you can go
letters,
back. You can go back to a
the layout.
close area of where it is and get enough information to be able to answer a multiple choice question. You're saying.
Right, but I'm saying, like, if it says, how many digits does a hand have, and it was 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll remember the last answer was 5. The answer is 5. So I only need to remember where the answer was, not necessarily what the answer. Because if I knew what the answer is, then I could ace a non-multiple choice question. I'm saying multiple choice. I
Right.
can
It's
remember where.
deduction. You can do the deduction on it.
Right.
Well, here, like, I think everyone has.
Today's episode is brought to you by New York. We'll get to that later. And our Unholy Alliance coffee. Continue.
I was saying, everyone has a different way of like memory recall.
Okay.
Okay, so when we were in New York,
You're jumping ahead.
I know, but I'm using an example. It's the most recent example. So the hotel that we stayed in, the lady who checked us in on the first night, okay, I want to say it was 3 nights later. 3 nights later, we were coming back, and she was working the night shift. It was like 10:30 at night. We're walking into the hotel, and she goes, "Oh, have a good night, Pedro." And I was like, "How did you remember my name? Like, we interacted for 15 minutes." And she's like, "Oh, I remember the people who stay here. I have a thing. I just remember their names." And I was like, I don't understand. Like, did you use something? Was there something in my name? Did you attach it to something that maybe I was wearing or something how did you do it? And she goes, "I just remember it. It's just my thing." And she goes, "Don't ask me to remember anything else. I have absolutely no recall for anything else other than random people's names."
And that's her superpower.
That's her
her
part.
interviewing for that job and saying, "Watch what I can do."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You got the job. What a perfect gift to have."
Look what I can do.
Job. But the other thing that I feel like I have a superpower for is numbers. You can give me a sequence of numbers and I can recall the sequence of numbers. So memorizing phone numbers, I remember when you were like, "I'm going to take your credit card away." And I was like, I have the number memorized, so it's fine. I had to be like, "No."
Do you do the air dialing when you're trying to go for a number? Do you do that?
No.
I have to do that. For
because
my own number.
But I can't tell you where the numbers are right now.
I can.
Hold on. Let me see because I'm trying to see my code.
You just gave everyone your code.
What's my code?
Huh?
Let's say it. What's my code?
No.
You know my code, though.
I know.
No, but so it's not a good question for you.
I know.
You already know it.
I know. Okay, hold on. If anyone can guess,
Yes,
her code based on what she just did.
We're gonna send you merch. You're gonna be the first person to get a free merch from us.
If you can guess the code.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You're like giving everybody the code.
Oh my gosh.
There's gonna be someone
you
out
need
there
that.
that's gonna take the video, they're gonna flip it backwards, they're gonna look at it, they're gonna put a keypad, they're gonna be like figuring it out.
Well, when I did psychology, there was a little bit about how the brain works. And it was saying that rather than trying to remember a number that's 5225437, right? Like that, your brain is only going to hold it for a certain amount of time rather than
What was that number for?
nothing, just random.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But rather than you learning it as 52, 37 something, because our brains have slots and they can hold this much information. So if you break it up into slots, you're more likely to remember something.
So do I have
I don't do that. But I don't use that, I'm saying. I don't look at a number and say, I'm going to remember 148260. No, I just remember 148260.
I remember things that are random, out of place. Like, I'll be doing something and all of a sudden it's like, well, like you said, the brain continues to work. Did you say this in the last podcast?
Maybe. I don't know. I think so.
Where the brain continues to work
even after not thinking about it anymore.
So my brain was always constantly working. Mm-hmm. And I can recall, that's my superpower. I recall random facts.
No, you can store random facts. Yeah, you recall them.
Yeah, I recall it.
Wow. You're an encyclopedia. See, that's where the thing is. To me, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like my memory is really, really good for certain things, and then other things. I think that for me, if I don't intentionally pay attention to what you're telling me, I'm not going to remember that.
Yeah.
But you could make a comment about, I don't like how I look in purple. I'm always going to remember that. I'm always going to remember that. And then it's going to be...
Speaking of colors, is this not...
I wanted to call that out.
Is this not like...
You look like summer. Bro, it's June. It's June. This is officially summertime. You are the very picture of summer right now.
So
I'm loving... Oh, and I just told my sisters this. I love a man in this like coral, peachy, pink. Don't start.
I know. I'm trying not to. It's like I'm trying to swallow the yawns, but
it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're like here recording.
It ain't 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's what the coffee is for.
Anyways, so we've talked about this before, that we're very much baseball fans. Obviously, the Dodgers are my team, but I have other teams that I like to follow and things about them and whatever. And the San Diego Padres came out with their City Connect colors, which is like, I mean, look at these colors. Beautiful, just very vibrant.
They're jersey.
Right? And so when we were in New York, sorry, we
need to get there already. We need to get there already.
When we get there. So we're walking through New York and...
No, stop. I don't want you to go into the story yet.
Bro, we told everybody that we were going.
Dang it. Go.
Everybody knew we were going.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so when we were walking through New York, I see the Major League Baseball store. I told you that's where I got the hat.
No, you did not.
Yeah. No. Ho.
You said you found the hat somewhere.
At the Major League Baseball store. So.
And where is my anything?
It's called not having enough space, which we'll get to because
that is
ridiculous what we did.
That is so true.
So I walk in there and I go straight to the Dodger stuff. And I start looking at the Dodger stuff, and I see a whole area of the Padres stuff. And I tell
I'm just going to ask you real quick. They didn't have the flower stuff? You know how
So they did, but none of the hats had my size.
Oh.
I would have bought it, and I asked
I've
them
been
for
looking for it.
They said it is the most popular hat right now that they have.
I have been looking for it.
So they had it for, I think the Braves actually had it, but the Braves one is kind of boring.
I thought that was a Dodger thing, though.
No, I thought it was a thing.
Japanese cherry blossom thing.
It was, but there's that's the Japanese cherry blossom, but they have one that's like with the different cities with like different flowers on them.
Oh,
I didn't know
that. I thought it was something special to them.
Yeah, the Braves one looked kind of boring because it was sitting on the dark hat, so it doesn't have that.
It doesn't pop.
Yeah, it doesn't pop. Anyways,
I mean, and a cherry blossom's a cherry blossom.
But it wasn't a cherry blossom. So, you with me?
For the Dodgers.
Yes. For the Dodgers, it was.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, what can really beat that?
Exactly. Okay, so, I was talking with Mike, and I was like, I went over and I looked at the Padres stuff, and he's like, Padres? Since when do you like the Padres? And I'm like, it's not that I like the Padres as a team where I'm following them, where I'm like cheering for them. But if they're up against somebody who I don't really care about, I'm going to cheer for the Padres. Mm-hmm. And I told him about their City Connect, and he's like, what is that? So I asked the lady, I was like, where is the City Connect stuff, like the stuff for the Padres? And she goes, downstairs, second shelf, third row, 4 in the corner, take 13 steps, close your eyes, 1, 2, 3, 7, 9, 4, stop, turn to the left 40 degrees, look up, middle shelf. I was like, how do you know that? And she goes, the Padres are my team. So it was her team.
Oh, wow.
So she knew exactly where it was. But then when you go downstairs, so everything in New York is like, you have your entrance floor.
And the basement.
And then there's basement. Right?
And I thought that was only for Italian kitchens.
And sometimes it's like basement and then a second basement. So it just depends on where you go. And so we go down into the basement, and you look over to that side, and they have all the City Connect all together, all in one spot. And the one that stands out is the Padres. And I go to Mike, I'm like, look at that hat. And he's like, wow, that looks incredible. I was like, yeah, I really, really like that hat. I'm like, I've been itching to get it. I'm like, but I want the jersey too, but the jersey is it's $200 for that jersey. I was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna get that. It's not. If it was
really,
yeah.
Because on the MLB app, it's $134.
Yeah, for the really thin one.
I looked. Oh, at $174 for the other one.
Yeah. So it's like, this was like heavy duty, beautiful. And I was like, no, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. And I turned around and I left. And behind my back, Mike went and bought it for me. So I didn't know that he...
The poor boy. The poor boy.
What do you mean the poor boy?
The poor boy. He barely has 2 pennies to make a fire.
Okay, and he went to New York and didn't have to drop a penny. He wanted to give me something. So am I going to take that away from him?
And when did he give it to you?
Right there. He just walked over and he's like, here you go, Dad.
Oh.
So.
You know, I just want to, I mean, I don't want to get into this. I never like to talk about money or anything like that. But I have to say, I think it's something that's so beautiful. I don't know why. It's going to make me emotional. Oh my gosh. It's because we struggled so much in the beginning. Bro, like, I don't know where that's coming from. We had nothing.
You're gonna jack up your makeup.
No, I'm gonna jack up my eyes. They're gonna burn again. I don't know why I cry acid tears. But
it's because your soul is black.
We literally had nothing. You worked 3 jobs. We lived in a no door
garage.
Okay, like
we would eat dinner on the toilet in the bathroom, like, with a chair on the other side.
And people are gonna be like, why? Because it was the only place that had a door that we could close and have conversation while our baby slept, because he was just, anything would wake him. We ate like peanut butter sandwiches and sometimes like half a bread because that's all we had, right? And from where we were then to where we are now, like you are a very successful business owner. I have my own career, right? And you would think that we would have been more like we need to hold on to everything we have. And that's not at all what we've raised our kids to be like. You know, it's like whatever you have, there's always enough to share with someone else, right?
Well, Mike was talking about that where he's like he struggles to get anything for himself, but he loves getting stuff for other people.
Right. And that's the thing, like it's, I mean, you could be such a miser and like this is mine, like I worked for it, I need it, right? And I remember being in that position where we were overdrawn in our account, right? Barely scraping by a living, and somebody was in need and we took from where we didn't have to give them, and it was a joyful thing for us, you know, to be able to help, because you know what, if we cut this over here we can share a little bit, right? And so now to see that we're able to share even more, right? And to see him coming from where you know that he's scraping by a living, right? Barely anything left over for anything. And yet his first instinct is not, I need to save this because I need to, you know, pay a bill.
Yeah.
But it's like, my dad wants it. Let me give. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so wholesome. I don't know why it made me emotional because I could have just talked about that. But it's just, it's a beautiful thing to have been able to pass that on to our kids and to see that they're living that same life. Because I will tell you, the moment you hold on to what you have, gone. It's like smoke. Try to hold on to smoke, you know? And for us, it's always been an experience for us where it is way, way better all the way around when you give than when you're selfish, you know? So
it's hard. It's still hard to do that though, because sometimes you feel taken advantage of because of the way that you are.
Obviously there is wisdom and, you know.
Right, but I'm saying like sometimes it could feel.
And
like,
we learned that. We learned
did?
that because, you know, there were times that the help was given and it was like, well, you know, we went with the heart and not the head there. But it's never been a no, this is mine.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it takes it. Sometimes you have to learn things the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to learn it. You know.
Yeah.
I always say, you know, sometimes in Spanish it's like tiene que aprender a palo. Like, I don't know how to translate that into English.
I'll translate it for you.
Go ahead.
You have to learn a stick.
No, bro.
Literally a literal translation.
Okay, but literal translation doesn't take the
Okay,
translation
but
of it.
I'm taking
A palo means like
a stick.
by taking a beating.
Bro, I'm telling you,
I know
quite
palo,
literal.
I know palo is a stick.
A quite literal
But-
translation is that. Now, what does that mean in Spanish? Is the only way
By
you
taking
learn
by taking
is
a
the
beating?
school of hard knocks.
Is
That's it?
Okay.
All right.
So sometimes you gotta learn that way. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I'm going to tell you what we were talking about, okay? We were talking about my sister Leah and my concern for her memory.
Wow.
'Cause
We
that's-
went all the way to
Yes, okay.
Wow.
So she was telling me, wow, your memory is so good. And I don't even take Alpha Brain. I just want to say, do you feel like your brain is better with Alpha Brain? Like you have a better
Just
focus. Okay. So, yes, that's where my brain is at. And you said that maybe I could remember something and other people can't. I'm going to give you the scenario and you tell me what you think about it, okay?
Go.
When they first moved to the Carolinas, right? It was just her, Rudy, her husband, and my parents, right? There's 2 cars in that mix of 4 people. And they were exploring the town. They were exploring antique shops and all that stuff. My mom loves going to stuff like that, right? So Leah would have her husband take my dad's car so that she would have a car to be able to go out and take my mom. And they would go for the whole day, right? And then they'd come back and all stuff. I remember my mom telling me about this, telling me, oh, we're going to ask your dad if it's okay. My dad hated it. He won't admit it, but he hated it because now he's stuck in the land without any means of going out. And you know how many times he loves going to Home Depot. Mm-hmm. So that would happen. When I went to visit, when they had just newly moved there, and my very first time visiting, my mom had told me, when you get here, we're going to ask your dad if it's okay, and then Leah's going to take us and we're going to go. And sure enough, they arranged it so that that would happen. And we went to an antique store that you ended up going when we went for Christmas, if you remember. Okay, now I'm going to recall something for you. It was an antique store that was like an old grocery store, and it was full of glass and all that stuff. And it was a lady. She was very nice, whatever. You went once. You remember going. She took us to the White Owl. I think we went to the Sleepy Poet, and we went to that was my first time going there. Okay. Leah swears none of this ever happened. She never ever took Rudy's car. She never took my mom to the antique stores. I would never drive around by myself. I would never go out there. And I was like, Lee, not only did you take mom when you were here, you took me. Never. You guys are lying. That never happened. Concerned? That was just a few years ago.
Now, I'm skeptical.
Of
Leah.
Oh, she swears. You can tell.
Listen,
no,
you can
but
swear.
You can tell. The look in her eye is...
Hold on. You can swear. And the way that you guys are, she may just be having fun with you.
Oh, no.
And she's so deep. She's so deep in her deception of you that she is now stuck keeping that story as fact for her.
But the thing is, when she does stuff like that, she chuckles and she laughs, and you can tell. And my mom is the one who actually told me about this.
She could have at first believed what she said, and then when the memory recalled, then she couldn't come back from it.
Her new favorite phrase when I recall...
I'm with you, Lee.
Listen.
It happens.
Her new favorite thing to say whenever I say, oh, do you remember when such and such thing happened? She was like, I didn't grow up in the same household. That didn't happen. That's her thing. It's like stories that we've told over and over again, right? And she doesn't remember.
It's an extension of what's going on. It's called old age.
No. She's younger than I am.
And?
No, I'm concerned.
Her brain is deteriorating.
She's probably laughing right now. Like, wow, her brain is thanks for putting my stuff.
Deteriorating faster.
We say it's because she breastfed so much. Like the kids literally just sucked all of her memories, everything out of her brain. And the thing is, she was very
concern would be
if
Nene starts telling stories of childhood.
Oh my gosh!
And then you're like,
no, I'm concerned. 5. I'm concerned that if she didn't have her life documented the way she does on her channel, which, I want to give her a shout out on her channel.
Say it.
Yeah, except right now I only have Live, Love, Land.
Love and Land.
Love and Land.
It's love.
I don't know why I was like live, love, laugh, and it's like no, live, love, land, and it's
love,
not
love and land.
love and land. Let's just wow. If you see,
Is it love and land?
see, I guess that's not something I need to recall so much, but she has such a wholesome channel. It is love and land underscore right after the land.
Is that why I can never find it?
Yes.
I always have to.
It must have been taken, and that's why she had to add that. So it's such a
You know
wholesome
how I always
channel.
find it? I always go to Instagram, find it on Instagram, take the link over to YouTube.
Oh, this is for Instagram, just to clarify.
So what is it on YouTube?
I don't know, but she does have it linked on her page on Instagram. But anyway, it's just, baking, life with the kids, homeschooling, life on the land, gardening. It's just such a wholesome channel. So, Christmases and vacations and stuff. It's so beautiful. She's a vlogger, a content creator. But I say that wasn't it because of her, if it wasn't because of her.
Yeah, you can't just search Love and Land. It doesn't come up that way.
Well, but you can follow it through Instagram.
See, that's what I don't understand. If I'm following them, right? If I'm following the channel, right? And I search the channel, shouldn't all the stuff that I follow first come up?
You would think
I've
so.
got like music videos and like all kinds of stuff.
You would think so.
I've got here Love My Land.
Love My Land, huh?
Love My Land. And then Love on the Land, the official trailer from...
All right. But my point being is that if it wasn't because of her documenting her life and everything, all right, I don't know if she would remember that they did things. I think a little bit from now... A little bit from now, a few years from now, you could recall, hey, do you remember when we went to the zoo?
It's at Love and Land, period. There's no underscore, there's no nothing. And that's exactly how I search it. And I don't find it.
To clarify, that's on YouTube.
Yes, that's on YouTube.
So...
Go.
All right.
If I didn't do what I just did, I would be thinking about it for the next 30 minutes.
All right.
So
well,
it's out.
so
it's purged.
One day, one of these days, we're gonna do an episode on OCD and ADHD and all of these things that plague us.
Yes.
Okay. And why, for some people who are like, oh, why does he have to do this all this time? Like, I sometimes feel like I want to make an excuse for you at the grocery store because sometimes you get the look from the bagger and the cashier like, oh, you're one of those who wants to bag their own groceries. And it's like, yes,
hold on.
but...
Let's be fair.
Hold on,
Bro,
yes,
when
but...
you put soap in with your chicken,
yes,
that's a problem.
Some people don't care.
Okay.
Some people don't care. That's what I'm saying, right? And it's like, I wish they could be more gentle and tender and understand that it isn't that you're being, what is it? A Karen? What's the boy version of a Karen?
A Chad.
Is that really what it is? Okay. So it's not that you're being that, right? It's
why ask what it is and then you don't
I don't know if I
use
trust you.
It's a Chad.
I don't know if afterwards you're gonna laugh at me and you're gonna say, "No, bro." Oh, okay. Wait. Remember? So anyway, with the phone thing, I know that you have to do this. I know, but other people don't know that you have to do this. So they're like, just get over it. Just don't do it. And it's like, you're unable to see.
No. I asked, what is a Chad? And AI said, Chad is officially the Republic of Chad, is a landlocked country in the north and central part of Africa. Also, it can be internet slang for the stereotypical alpha male. Oh, so it's not going to be.
See?
Okay,
that
hold on.
thing. No.
Hold on.
Oh.
Bro, don't ask the question if you're not gonna. I'm follow the white rabbit. What is a male version of a Karen? Oh, look at this. there is
This might be something that people want to know about.
There's no single universally agreed upon male equivalent to the term Karen.
The thing is, there can't
which
be
is
anything
used
like
to
a
describe
Karen.
a woman who is perceived as entitled or demanding.
Yeah, men don't usually come across like that, though.
However, there are some terms that have been suggested. A Kevin. Okay?
Actually.
A Terry or a Donald. Okay? And then they said that Chad is sometimes used to refer to a man with the Karen archetype, but it is more officially used to refer to a man associated with masculinity and dominance. So I wasn't that far off.
See, and in our normal conversation, like, because this is what it was supposed to be, right? Us having normal conversation and people just listening in, right? I find it interesting that people are like, oh, when he does this, this is distracting and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I get it that we are being aware of other people, right? Like, I'm also aware of the moving around and trying not to and all that stuff, right? Which normally I wouldn't be. And that's just out of consideration for the viewer. However, this is how we talk. Right now, I have another question that's come up because that's just normally how it is. And yet, I'm holding it back.
What's the question?
Because...
What's the question?
It just continues the rabbit hole in the phone. And
yes,
I
hold on.
want to keep...
What happens when you do what you just did?
When I tell you what I just did.
Yes.
I know.
So now
you can't
I
live
can't move
with...
on.
I know you.
Okay, so what's the question?
It's another infirmity that you have. Okay.
What's the question?
Okay. My question is: are you going to be able to withstand?
What's the question? I'm itching over here, bro. It's like,
listen, and I never do that to you on purpose.
What's the question?
Oh my god.
Bro, I feel like the crackhead on Chappelle Show.
Right now,
What's the question?
I can't with you. Okay, can you hold on just a moment? Relax for a second, okay? Because what I was trying to convey to people is that you're going to get the question. Is that this is how we talk. We're having a conversation and then we're like, oh, where did this term come from? Boom. And then it's like, yeah, but how come this? And it's more searching. You're the searcher. I'm the one who asks questions. That's normal. People need to get over it. They need to get used to it. That's just part of what we do. I do think that sometimes the stuff that we are searching for could be I've never thought about that before. And now you're providing very useful information. So all of that trumps whether or not people find it distracting that you grab your phone and search for things. Now,
what's the question?
Now, this is for your brain. Maybe you don't need Google for it.
Okay.
Because you have a wealth of information.
Hold on.
What was the name of the character with the little earpiece mic in Breaking Bad that Walt destroys his car? Because I don't know why I think his name is Kevin.
Oh.
Or was it Chad? Because he's a Karen. 1,000% he's a Karen. And if his name is not either one of those two, that's what a Karen is. And if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, I can't help you. You've got to look up that scene. The guy with the little Bluetooth in the sports car. His name is Kevin.
No.
His name is Chad.
It's Ken.
Ken! That's it. Karen and Ken. Wow. Ken. That's a Karen. Was he not a Karen?
Yes, and you know that he's also in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, we saw him.
He comes up in
We
Better
saw
Call
him. He was in the when they were making the deal with the guy at the restaurant.
Yep.
He was there. That's exactly what a Karen is.
Okay, so officially, Karen and Ken, you heard it here on the this and that chat.
Watch that clip and tell me if we're lying.
It is
set in stone. So let it be written.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Bro,
so let it be.
You failed me. I said one part.
I know. I was trying to remember and I couldn't.
You said it right.
So let it be done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I said the first part.
I had to do it in my brain.
Oh my God. So back to how you have to
Let's
airtight numbers.
Let's try it again.
No.
Ready?
Let's go back to how you have to airtight numbers. So you have to do that. You have to.
Are you jumping on?
Yeah, we're back on board to where we were before. Oh. We get off at different, different but trains. We're on the highway. 2. I will get up and leave right now if you do not answer that question correctly. We're on a highway to...
Oh, highway to hell?
Oh my God. I'm going to start twitching now.
Well, I didn't know you were doing a song reference. My bad.
Bro, that's what we do.
I know. Okay,
Isn't it awesome when we have a day where we say something and then we start singing that?
Yes. And right now I want to sing it.
Sing.
No.
Sing.
No. Okay, wait. Oh, yes. Okay, so I have to... When people ask for my number, I'm like, my own number, bro. I do this. Sometimes it's just on my foot, on my leg.
It's more autism.
On my foot.
You're on the spectrum. I mean, we've established this. Don't be ashamed. It's a superpower. We have autism in our family. There's so many of us.
Excuse me. Your tism is showing.
We need to get a shirt. We need to get a shirt.
Okay, wait. Okay, we already said that. So where are we? Are we moving on to something else?
Yeah, so we were saying there was a whole grand entrance that we were going to do this morning. We're like on super high energy.
Okay, wait. What were we supposed to do?
It's okay. We've moved on. Oh, okay. My point is we went into Leah's memory. Mm-hmm. I talked about my numbers. You said I need to air dial numbers because I can't remember numbers. Your own phone number. Wow. We don't judge. We listen. That's what I'm doing.
You messed it up.
Bro, of course I'm going to mess it up. I don't know what that is. I'm just repeating what I hear other people say. And then we're at the Grand Central Station. You like that? We just got back from equally amazing trips. Mm-hmm. Which we said we were going to go away. Why are you twitching your eye? What am I going to do with you?
I'm not
What
doing
is it wrong?
I'm wondering.
Can you do a close-up of your eye?
I'm wondering what you are doing. Because at this moment, if I was a listener, I would say that you went to New York with us.
Okay. We're going to set all that right.
Okay, go. You go first.
But why are you...
I'm just saying.
Why are you doing that, though?
I'm trying to focus.
You're not on board with me.
Go ahead.
It sounds like I messed something up.
No, I'm a passenger on this train, and I have no idea where we're going.
Right. So why are we making faces?
Oh, that's just my face.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of my face.
Your face.
Yes. Yesterday we went to the Michelangelo experience here in Miami. And you made a little recap video, which you could see on our story. Actually, you might not be able to see on our story.
Can you make a reel out
post
of it?
Yeah. I'm going to post it on...
I mean, I made it. But...
Yes, but I'm going to post it as a reel so you can see it. Because it'll be gone by the time that this comes
people
out.
Hear this, yeah.
So I'll post it. That way it's on there and you can see it. What was I saying? Oh, so on there you recorded our day and you made a little quick video of just everything that we saw, and a comment came from one of your sisters that said, "Oh, it looks like Peter was over it," and your response was,
"That's just his face."
"Yeah, that's just my face."
Yeah.
So you just got a visual of that's just my face.
That is just your face.
So it is. It is what it is.
It's just like if people don't know you, and they catch you just on you're standing in a line, let's say, they would find you to be very intimidating and unapproachable.
And completely unapproachable.
Why? Because you stand with your arms crossed.
I don't know why. I don't know.
And your face looks serious like that. Yeah, do that again.
You know what the thing
and
is?
You're such a
okay, look.
Oh my gosh.
I have a naturally droopy face.
No, you don't.
Of course I do. My eyes.
Your eyes
Yes.
are
So,
droopy.
I have a droopy kind of thing going, right? It's my face. What am I gonna do with it? There's nothing I can do. I'm not.
Well, that's the name of the episode. A droopy kind of thing.
Oh my god. Why must you torment me?
What? Isn't that great? A droopy kind of thing.
I'm tormented. Like.
Oh my god. The long-suffering Peter. Continue.
a droopy sort of thing.
Oh my god.
So when I'm not consciously smiling, right, or giving myself a perky face, then I look like I'm upset or mad or.
I don't think that your droopy eyes have anything to do with that, because if you were to cover your face and only show the bottom of your face and
all
say,
you see is beard.
Okay, but right there's a smile. If they catch you on a regular day, I wonder how long we could do the staring challenge where someone doesn't have to laugh. And then right now it's going to pop 3 hours later.
See, the thing is I still feel me pulling on my cheeks.
Mm-hmm. My point is nobody knows what you were just doing right now.
I know. I was for me.
Like, really, it's showing today.
What is really showing? What? Say it.
No.
No, if you're gonna say it, say it.
Nope.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say it.
Go ahead.
Mm-mm. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I love your smile. Your smile is so gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, stop. I love Bro, I don't like this smile. This smile is no good.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that I learned from very early on. Is the
Hold on.
It doesn't reach your
Hold on.
eyes.
Hey, Mary, I'm over it now. That's my I'm over it face.
Oh my gosh, am I crying black tears yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so we're good.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what were we saying? The Grand Central Station, which was ruined because it wasn't how we were supposed to start. But the train that you're on, that I was talking about, was that we both came back from I said equally amazing trips.
Mm-hmm.
We had told everyone that I was going to go visit the land, my family, and the new baby that was just added to the family. And you were going to New York with Mike. So.
Oh, wait. Before we go into that, we didn't talk about it. I know we're like into this episode, but we missed a week. of an
Had we
episode.
said we were going to have an episode though, or not?
We did. It was going to
Oh.
be an episode with Mike.
We did say that?
Yes.
No, I thought that was just like a future plan.
No, we said it was going to be. So, we did record it. We did record it.
I misunderstood.
And there was, we felt like there was a need to add our daughter into it also. So we're going to hold on to that one. We felt it was going to be an incomplete episode. So we wanted to, that one we're going to play with a little bit. So you will get that. So for the ones that are saying, wait, hold on, where's the episode with Mike? It's coming.
Did you at all put anything online about there's no episode this week, or did people?
With everything that we were doing,
Oh,
with
no,
the
there was
craziness that
nothing.
was,
I'm surprised that we haven't gotten any messages
yeah.
with, hey, where was the episode?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Anyways, go ahead.
So,
Equally amazing trips.
yes. So, I got to, I mean, for me, I'll just, recap really quickly. I feel that every year when I go visit my family, because everyone's pretty close to where they're at, I'm able to see everybody on that trip. And it isn't a trip where we've got to go to this person's house and this person's house. Everybody comes to my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all able to see each other and catch up. And even though...
And you always go, this is the time of the year that you always go.
Because I go for my mom's
Right, because
birthday.
your mom's birthday.
And part of the tradition of her birthday is that they take her to the antique store. And this year, I feel like if you had gone, you would have been quite surprised with how the White Owl looked. Okay.
Did they change it a lot?
Well, because I don't know if you remember that it's a fairly big store. It takes you can go there all day. All right. But there are so many empty booths.
Really?
And even with the empty booths, we were still there for a few hours. Okay. It just was like, all of this part is closed because there's nothing there. So, normally we would go down that.
Because it's a consignment antique store. So, like, people, like, they rent a booth.
I don't think that's what consignment is.
Yeah. Yeah, because they bring all their stuff, they put it there, and then the store sells
It's
it for them.
It's a vendor booth.
Yeah.
Antique store. So, every little square is different vendors.
Right. It's like consignment. Consignment is when you give your stuff to someone else to sell for you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess you could say it that way. But anyway, there were so many empty ones. And you could tell that there were some that people were actually working on them as we were speaking. They were filling up their things. The regular areas that we normally go to, most were open. Most were full of things. But there were so many empty ones that I had a thought, right? How long would a place like this stay open? Could it be possible that in a couple years, I'm sorry, we're closing the White Owl? It could be. I don't know how long they've been there, but I had that thought, right? And how weird it would be because that's the place that we go with my mom. And it's funny because it's pretty much the same things that we're there to see all the time. But everyone always goes with something in mind to go look for a treasure. And we'll tell each other, I'm looking for a cookie jar, So this is kind of the description that I have.
I never understood how you guys do that. Because you're going into, it's not like you're going into a store that has certain items. This is just randomness. So
there's a lot of looking.
I guess if you have, I guess if you have an idea of something that you want, because I can remember, like, you remember when you were looking for the windows, we would go into.
Yeah, but I feel like that's easier because they have those set up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like going into a store with the thought process of that, or like when we go and we look for the phone, which we still haven't found, and I
found it.
What?
I found it right now. Mm-hmm. And it was.
You should have gotten it.
I want to say that it was $195.
Careful with your coffee.
I want to say it was $195, but the earpiece was next to the phone, but it was no longer attached. So it was broken. I was like,
The one that we
it's
saw,
not complete.
where was it? Where was it that we saw that?
We saw it
When
in
we were
North Carolina.
when we
Hickory.
ran, when we ran for the hurricane. Man, we should have bought that thing.
I know, for $100.
I know. That thing was incredible. It would
I
be
know.
such a piece hanging on our wall.
And that's the thing is we have so many conversation
Oh,
pieces
you know where
in
I
our
would
home.
put it? I'd put it at the front door. Right on the right-hand side when you come in. Do you know how amazing that would look?
That would be so cool. Well, you know what? You've just manifested that into the universe.
Let's do it. We're going to find it.
I feel like that's going to happen.
We're going to find it.
But, so we all tell each other that, maybe someone's looking for an oil lantern. But the thing is, there's a specific look. I really wasn't going to look for anything except vinyls. And...
You found no vinyls.
Oh, no, honey. I stood there. While other things have decreased, the vinyl section is now like 4 stalls
Because it's popular.
wide. Okay. And it was just boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes. And I looked at that and I said,
Not today.
I feel like this is where you come just for the vinyls and you sit here all day going through boxes with somebody who can tell you 2 boxes at a time at least. Bro, Sue was looking for vinyls too, and I told her, good luck. I don't even know if she found anything or not.
Was Sue with you? Oh, she was.
Yeah, she went. So, and then, because like I was with the kids and all that stuff, I thought to myself that it's just it requires
It sounds like a very
too much.
different type of... This is the first time you've gone with the kids, no?
No, we went last time. There's just
But they were smaller.
Yeah, and they're much more independent now. You just have to tell them, hey, no running, but they're very, very good, So, but it just felt like that was going to consume so much time. There was just no way. What was I going to get through? Maybe a couple boxes?
Yeah.
I was like, no, nothing is really labeled. I kept looking and it would just say new arrivals. Well, new arrivals of what? It would be awesome if it was like, this is all your rock stuff. This is your 1930 stuff.
But the new arrivals had to have been like, because that's probably what they do in that booth only, and people come to look. So you put all the new arrivals in one spot, so when you come back, you just go and look at new arrivals.
That's possibly
It
what it was.
It entices the people to come back to look.
Let me tell you. And some things were brand new. It looked really awesome, and I was like, you and I have to go. And we have to go just for the purpose of that.
We won't have time this year, though.
No, but we've got to make time to do that. Even if it is at another place. Like, I feel like we could, we need to do that.
There's a vinyl shop that's here somewhere. And
I feel like I've
seen it
saw
come up.
something.
I've seen it come up a couple times, but every time I go to start looking for it, I stop because I get distracted with something.
I feel like I saw something when we were up in Orlando with the kids.
There was a vinyl shop up there.
And we drove by and I saw that it said vinyls.
Mm-hmm. It was right next to that store that the kids took us to.
The Oddities shop. That's where it was that I saw it. But anyway, so if you see a cookie jar, right, then you're like, oh, Mel was the one with a cookie jar. Oh, Mel, how about this one? But it's a look. It's the look that you're looking for.
Right.
And so she was not able to find the cookie jar that she was imagining. Something was kind of close, but it was like, nah. And if you don't feel it, don't take it, right? It's like, unless you feel like I'm going to regret the fact that I didn't take it, don't take it. So I did end up finding a piece for the library because I feel that now when I'm looking for things, I'm looking specifically for the library. If it's not a vinyl, it's for the library, or the phone. I feel that that's the only stuff I'm looking for. And
the what? The phone?
The phone, yeah. The phone we just talked about.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's that.
Because you said it's for the library or for the phone. So I'm thinking, what are you looking for in an antique?
No. The phone, the library, or a vinyl, right? Those are the things I'm looking for. And because my library is set up with themes, right? Like there's like dark side, and then there's, yeah, you get to sit behind the dark side, and historical things and everything. I like to group those books together and put something with it. So I'm actually going to put out a video of the library so everyone can kind of get an idea of what that is. But I found a piece that was just so intriguing, right? Because it was a puzzle of an elephant. It's a cast iron elephant, and you could tell, like, the moment I picked it up, its ear moved, like it was a secret compartment. And I was thinking, well, why does the ear move? And
Did you bring it? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, you sent me a picture of it, but I hadn't seen it in person.
And then I saw the trunk moves and the tail moves, and you could tell there's a line that just cuts through it where you can tell it's some sort of a puzzle put together. So instantly I was intrigued with it, and I looked it up, and it ended up being a 1930s circus elephant coin bank. I don't know how it works. I want to try it to see if you can actually put a coin in it. And it can't really hold that many coins. I'm thinking maybe
it's more novelty.
It's more novelty than anything. But I did look it up on YouTube, and I saw that there's a video of how to take it apart and how to put it back together. But it was just so cool that that was my thing that I said, that's what I'm bringing. That's my treasure. So I love seeing the kids looking at different things and enjoying old toys, right? I got something for baby Wyatt that is, it's a wooden toy, right? But it has little beads for color. There's an alphabet side. So it's a box, right? And there's different activities you can do on it. Well, his two siblings immediately gravitated towards it and were working on different sides. And I could imagine when the three of them are sitting there playing, how it's going to entertain them. It was just super cute. But anyway,
the old toys are better.
The old toys are so much
better.
The
simple toys always win.
Yeah. There was a little handheld pinball game. I don't know who remembers those, but they had them really small. I remember it was sort of a trigger, right? And then you shoot the little ball, and it was a little silver ball, and it goes into all these little things. This one was about this big, And that ended up being Matthew's thing because he was just so drawn to how it worked. So it's really nice. But that was one big thing that we did. And then most of everything was just at home, playing with the kids and going out into the splash pad because during the day it was so hot, and even though the nights was super, super cool, it was just so very different than here. And the snuggles with the baby, I mean, I wish I could just drink in his scent. And I was telling my sister that from the moment that I first held him to the last moment I held him, I felt that I was experiencing such a change with him. I felt that he'd gone from mostly sleeping to, are you noticing that he's more and more awake? Are you, in just a span of a week, right? And today she FaceTimed me and she held the phone so I could see him and everything. And he was fully alert, awake, just sitting in his little bouncy chair, just looking at me. And I didn't get to experience that part of him.
Right.
And I was there for the morning, the evening, the middle of the day and everything like that. And you were saying,
you said, oh, you're going to get to, you'll get to see him in November when we go for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, I'm not going to go see the same kid that you just saw, because by the time I get there, he's going to be like
7 months.
Yeah, he's going to be a completely different child. 7 months is 7 months, and I mean, it's that's the bad thing about them being so far away, is that we do miss some of that stuff. But you being able to go and enjoy them the way that you did.
Well, and then that's the thing, right? I feel like it's such a short amount of time, and yet every single time at the end of that, I pat myself on the back because I feel that I've done such a good job to make sure I did something, even if it was one thing, but I did something with everyone. I saw everyone. I spent time with everyone. I gave everyone something, right? And for me, that's very filling because this is we're going to go into a little bit of a dark thought right here, right? But, and the very best of expectations. Let's say that my parents have 30 more years. That's putting my dad at 100 and my mom at 97 years old. That's way, way more generous, right? But let's say it's 30 years. With me going for this 1 week that I go in the summer and seeing them for Thanksgiving, that means I have 60 more visits with them. That is the equivalent of 2 months that someone is going to have the next 2 months with them.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about in the next 30 years, I get 60 visits with them. And by extension, that means the children, my sisters. You got to put everybody in that pile, right? That is such a limited amount of time that, to me, like my brother messaged me when I was leaving and he's like, "Oh, did you cry when you left?" And I said, "No, I don't. I feel like I used to when I would first go because it was so hard to feel so torn about my home is with you. This is our life. And yet I want to be with them, you know?" And I told him, no, I don't cry. I focus on how full I feel and how amazing our time was and how we got to do everything. I don't know how we fit everything, right? But we got to do everything. And I would say, in part, that's a huge shout out to both of my sisters who bring all of their chaos and their mess with them. I don't know if you'd be able to sit there with the screaming where you are. What was that again? Reading lips, right? Because the kids are screaming, running, chasing each other, laughing, and and it's my mom's tiny little space, right? And they're there, and I just look around and I'm looking at my mom like, is my mom okay? Is she like breaking out? My mom is like, she's the master tune outer, whatever you call it, right? And she's fine. She's just there, their kids are coming. "Oh, I want a cookie. Oh, can you make me coffee?" And she's just like, yep, yep, yep. Whatever everybody wants, right? And my sister's just talking, and I talked to Mel on Friday, and she was telling me that my mom had invited her to come over for coffee, and she said, "I think I'm going to stay home." She said, "Because I was there every day when you were here." She even came on the weekend.
Right.
And
that's not normal.
And that's not normal, right? So you're coming.
Even though they're right next to each other, but you're talking about moving everything for two kids.
For Leah, her 3 kids.
3 kids.
She's pumping.
Yeah,
there's nap times. There's all this stuff going on. But it's like I'm putting my life on pause to come be with you. And the moment I would text her and say, "Hey, what time are you coming?" She would be like, just grabbing my stuff and heading over. And we're talking about now you're there from 9:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon with little breaks in between, But that's a long day every day. And I cannot appreciate their effort more because if it wasn't for that, then it would be a lot harder to give everybody the time, But
and what's nice is you get a few days with your June trip, and it's just you, like it's almost like you become the focus over there.
Oh, 1,000%.
So like you get that time that's yours, and like everyone knows when you go and that's your time, that's your time. Like that's what it is, and you have that to look forward to. And then when we go in Thanksgiving, that's when it's complete chaos because everybody's there, and you know that's the time when I get to go. Mm-hmm. But it's like there's I don't know it's always like there's always an effort that's made to be able to enjoy whatever little time it is that you're there, you know?
1,000%. And you can feel it because immediately I get asked, like, what do you want to eat? What dessert do you want? You know?
Speaking of what you want to eat, you sent me stuff that was not fair.
Oh my gosh. And I requested it. It's all part of the stuff that I said, hey, make me this. Because
and I told your mom she's got to be ready because that's, I expect
the same kind of treatment.
The same treatment when I go.
The same treatment.
And the thing is, you had 5 days. 5 days?
Yeah, 5 days.
You had 5 days. Okay? I only have 3, 2.5 when we go. And I'm going to eat everything that you ate in 5 days and 2.5 days. So, plus Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
Plus Thanksgiving.
But it's just, I don't know. It's always an amazing time. I feel like it sustains me until the next time that I see them. And if that's what it has to be, that we have to be apart, it can't be better. I just have to, when you said that they prep because it's like I'm there specifically, it just reminded me there was a moment where, obviously Leah doesn't want the baby carried all the time because then the baby doesn't want to be on his own, right? So she had put him down because we were doing the splash pad with the kids. She had put him down and he started crying. And I'm inside and I tell her, oh no, he's crying. And she said, yeah, but give him a moment. He wasn't screaming. He was crying, right? And she said, give him a moment. Sometimes he moves around and he settles down, right? He started getting louder and louder. And I'm like, Lee, please, he's crying. Like, I'll stay inside with him, right? But obviously they want me outside in the splash pad. And she's like, give him a moment. She's watching the monitor. She's like, give him a moment. And I start like inching my way to the room slowly. And she's still like looking down, right? And she's like, only you can get away with that, right? Because if it was anybody else, I would be like, leave him. I'm the mother. She's like, grab him. He just wanted a bottle. The poor thing.
Little chunker is what he is. Oh
my gosh. Everybody at work who's seen a picture of him thinks he's like 3 months old.
Bro, he is a chunker.
Bro, hey, those cheeks.
Listen, whatever brain cells Leah gave the other 2 breastfeeding, she's going to lose the rest of them with this one. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Okay, but anyway, that was my trip.
That was your trip.
That was my trip.
I, on the other hand, had a completely opposite trip.
Opposite?
Yes, because I went into insanity.
Oh. Not opposite in how amazing it was, though.
No. I went into... You went to enjoy and relax and all this kind of stuff. And I went into hustle and bustle.
And boy, were you not prepared.
Who can be prepared?
I don't know what to expect.
Listen. So this trip, let's go back to what it was supposed to be. So this was Mike's graduation trip. It was supposed to be in
Didn't we say that?
I don't know.
I think we said that on the
last
time.
This was supposed to be in 2020. And it was right after his graduation, and we were going to go and we were going to explore New York and we were going to have a great time, and that was going to be his thing. But literally the weekend that we were flying, our flights were canceled because we canceled the flights.
The day before.
We wouldn't have been able to go anyway, but we canceled the flights the day before because they did the shutdown for COVID. So obviously, all of the COVID stuff happened. Everything happened there. And then it just never happened. We just never went. And this year we were just like, okay, we're doing it. Let's go. We're booking it.
Did you give it to him for Christmas?
I told him in Christmas.
Yeah.
I was like, listen.
Fine, redemption arc.
I know that we've been trying to get this thing going and it just never has happened, but we're doing it this year. We're going. And we set the date, booked the hotel, booked the flights, and we went. And I don't know that anyone who hasn't been there can truly plan for what it means to go and explore New York. So
it must be so overwhelming if you haven't. So
it wasn't overwhelming. Here's the thing, though.
I feel like I'm not overwhelmed because I'm with you. If I were alone, I would be overwhelmed.
So we showed up with a very generic plan. Here are the things that we want to see. Here's how it's broken down in quadrants. So we stayed 5 minutes from Times Square. So we knew that was going to be like... So you got
that experience.
That was going to be...
Which I tried to do all those things. Like, I thought about even the place where you're going to fly into in LaGuardia so that it would be like you're flying into New York, you know? Because when you went, you flew into Newark.
Right.
And then drove into New York.
Right. And I was only in New York for like 4 hours.
And I feel that it was probably cheaper to go to Newark.
It actually wasn't.
Was it really?
No, because we looked at it.
Oh, wow.
So the distance actually from Newark and LaGuardia to Times Square was the same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but LaGuardia was the newer airport, which was a phenomenal airport. Ridiculous. I think it's the best airport I've ever been to.
Wow.
And so we stayed in Times Square, and we used that as our central hub. So we got there at 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Was it Friday? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Friday we got there.
Yeah, you maxed out the day.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, by 10:30 we were walking Times Square, which was incredible.
Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you some questions because I haven't even asked you certain things to kind of hear it on the chat, but did you take a cab over from the airport to the hotel? No, we did an Uber. Interesting. So I would have thought all cabs.
The cabs? So the New York cab thing?
Did you have the New York cab experience?
We never went into a cab.
Really?
So we only used a car twice. It was to get from LaGuardia to Times Square and from Times Square to LaGuardia. That's it. We never got into another car.
You walked.
Yeah, we did everything. We did everything in quadrants, right? So we had like Times Square. That was where we did all of our exploration the first day. Mm-hmm. And Wait.
Walked. So when you got out of the airport and you got your Uber, did you say take me to the hotel or take me to Times Square?
No, we went to the hotel to drop off our bags.
Okay, I see. All right.
So we dropped off our bags and then we went right to Times Square.
Which little pro tip, I want you to throw in your pro tips. Something we learned was that call your hotel ahead of time because since you arrived so early, your hotel room wasn't ready yet. Mm-hmm. But they held a small fee.
Yeah, $2 a bag. So
they will hold your bags for you.
They held our bags. It was $2 a bag, and we were able to go in and explore. We actually didn't come back to the hotel until it was like 10:30 that night, and that was our earliest night.
Wow.
That was our earliest night that we called it because we had been up since like 4 a.m. to be able to get up there so early. And what we came to learn very quickly is that New York is like, it starts at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's when everything comes alive.
Wow.
So everything there is till the middle of the night. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I've said this 100 times since our trip and during our trip. A 44-year-old with a 25-year-old? Holy cow. I got wrecked. Okay? The boy wanted to be up all night, and I'm like, I'm dying over here.
Stop it, for real?
Yeah, we could have kept going. The night was young. I mean, we would get back to the hotel room. It was like 1:30 in the morning, And we would fall asleep because we were tired from all the walking. Because we would get up, we'd be out by 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And we did all our sightseeing, and then you go to Times Square at night. And that's where you finish off the night. You know, there's street performers and shows that are happening in the middle of in the middle of the street, like characters and people watching.
And I want to say that you told me something that you didn't need to nap because the city energizes you.
Yeah, so that was something, like there was so much going on. Like you're not gonna you're not gonna sit there and fall asleep. You're going.
So you felt yourself so stimulated that you had energy.
Yeah,
natural energy.
A natural. But when you went back to the room and you took a shower, there was one night Mike didn't take a shower. He fell asleep, and there was no getting him up. And he took a shower in the morning. Yeah.
No.
While I was taking a shower, I came out and he's like, he was gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's brutal. So what we did was, you know, we planned our day to go and explore certain things that we wanted to see. Like the first day our first stop was to go get pizza. We went to Joe's Pizza, which was the pizza place that was in the Spider-Man movie. So,
okay.
That's where we went. First thing,
Spider-Man
2. No, with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, but didn't he direct it?
I don't know.
Sam Raimi?
Possibly.
All right.
So we went there first, and then we went into Times Square, and we started walking Times Square. We went shopping into all the different stores.
But you couldn't buy anything. Because you had no space.
Well, we did buy some stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. But you start going into all these stores, and what you don't realize is that you have so many little intricate things to see and look at and touch and pick up and come out, and it's just all of a sudden it's 7 o'clock at night. And yeah, we did the first day was just really explore Times Square. We deep dived into Times Square. We did like some stuff that was like right on the rim of like the Times Square area. Got to know the area. We looked for specific restaurants to eat. I felt like the first day we really were just kind of figuring stuff out. The next day we had the plan. Okay, we're going to go to the Empire State Building. There's a bagel shop that we want to go to that's right down the street from there. And then we had movie locations that we wanted to see. And we kind of mapped it out very loosely on the map. Okay. And we figured we'll just keep walking down the line and we'll figure it out kind of as we went. There was no like we got to be here.
No itinerary.
No itinerary. Okay. The first day we walked almost 8 miles.
Bro.
Okay. This is after getting up at 4 a.m. Like wrecked. At the end of that, we were just exhausted. The next day, we were like, okay, we got to be a little bit smart about it. We figured maybe we'll jump in the subway at some point, whatever. It didn't happen that way. We knew that we wanted to go to the 9/11 memorial on that day. And our plan was to do the Empire State Building in the morning and then head down to the memorial. At some point in that day, we figured we would take the subway. But as we were having breakfast, we start looking. We're like, oh, there's the Daily Bugle from Spider-Man. Oh,
the Daily Bugle was there?
Yeah, the building that they use for the Daily Bugle.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's right here in this area. Oh, there's a park over here. Mike was saying that it was what they used to film Impractical Jokers. There was this little thing that was over here. There's this little thing, and then we were like, okay, we'll just walk. We'll walk, and then when we get tired, we'll just jump on the train. Okay, we ended up walking 13-something miles that day. Okay? Ridiculous. Every single person...
At some point, do your legs say, hey?
Yes. They said hey a lot. So you start walking, and you start going from point to point, and we were like...
And did you feel dehydrated at all? I'm sorry.
No, no, I felt
Because you told me bathrooms are sort of
yeah,
a commodity.
bathroom.
So.
If you
Pro tip.
yeah, if you see a bathroom, use it. If you don't need to go, squeeze it, get it out, do something because they just don't exist.
And because of that, I'm asking if you felt dehydrated because you wouldn't be drinking a lot if you can't find a bathroom.
No, because it was so nice and cool. It wasn't hot.
And you went at the end of May into June.
Yeah, we did not I did not feel like we sweat at all.
Wow. What's
Like,
it going to be like in September?
I would feel like there was, you'd start feeling like your body was warming up, but because we were stopping and going, we were always kind of
So it wasn't like the Florida sun.
Yeah, I would wear my jacket, and then I would take off my jacket, and then I would put it back on. I would take it off.
But so it's not like going to Disney here right now.
No.
Okay.
No. As in, so we're jumping from these little spots to this little spot to this little spot, and we would walk to the next. We're like, okay, look, there's a Subway that's close by. Maybe we'll take the Subway here, and then you walk, and you're like, what's that store? Oh, look at this, and then we ended up going into the Lego store. Right there, and then there's the Nintendo store, and then we're like, well, let's walk down this way. And you start walking, and all of a sudden, it's the Harry Potter store. And we're like, okay, now let's try and get the train. And then we're like, well, what's this over here? And then it's, what? Let's go here. Oh, look at all these shops. And then you start going shop by shop by shop.
Question about the shops. Mm-hmm. When we go to Key West or St. Augustine or whatever, you say all the shops are selling you the same thing. Is it like that?
They have stores that are a lot of the same stuff. Okay. I Love New York stuff.
Okay, everywhere. Okay.
But there's a lot of very meticulously niche
specialty stores.
So there's
no
a lot
oddity store that you.
There was an oddity store. So we went to an oddity store. We went to there was a Halloween store, and what we noticed is after that Halloween store, we noticed that is in a bunch of different places. So
stores.
It's a costume store.
I mean, you're in the city where people dress up.
So, and then there's a lot of statues and a lot of different buildings, old buildings mixed with new buildings. So all of a sudden, you find yourself, you're 5 or 6 miles in, and then we're like, well, Prince Street Pizza, which is the place that we were going to go to, it's only 3/4 of a mile away. Let's just walk there. So all of a sudden, you put it on the GPS, you start heading that way, and it takes you an hour to get there because you've stopped in 10 stores on the way. So, you're at Prince Street Pizza, and you're like, well, what's close by? Oh, look, it's the Ghostbusters firehouse from the movie. Let's go that way. Boom, you're going that way. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, the 9/11 Memorial is only 1.25 miles away. Let's just walk it. And then, boom, you just start walking it, and you go just piece. And when you would tell people from where you came, people thought we were crazy. They didn't believe us. No, they didn't believe. They were like, "You walked from Times Square to Battery Park," and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, "What?" Yeah. He's like, but a straight shot? Well, we went to the Empire State Building first, and then we cut. And it's like, what? You went to the Empire State Building, and then you went to Battery Park? And we're like, yeah. And we stopped at Prince Street Pizza, and then we stopped at the firehouse before. He's like, you guys are crazy. It was 13.5 miles that day that we walked. And then on the way back, we're like, we're just going to jump on the train and head back. It's just going to be an easy, quick shot. And then we're like, we're kind of hungry. What are we going to eat? And then we saw that they had a restaurant that we had eaten at the night before, but it was another location. And we're like, let's eat there again because that was really good. Oh, it's only just a little bit this way. So we start walking that way. We get there. Boom. We're like, well, we're close enough to go to this other place that we wanted to go to. And that's what ended up happening is that we just explored.
You got lost in the city.
We got lost in the city.
Wow.
We never jumped
Which I think is the best experience.
It was the best. We never did. So
just let me interject really quick. Had you been with me, I feel you would have planned things out and there would have been a schedule, and we're jumping here. And I wonder if being with our
It would
son
not have
made
worked.
you, do stuff in a more devil may care kind of way.
No,
I
it definitely
wonder.
was. I mean, we were when we were walking back from Battery Park, or like the 9/11 memorial. So we could have jumped right on the train and been at Times Square in 20 minutes. Right? But we were like, "Oh, let's go to this restaurant." And on the way to the restaurant, we saw Wall Street was right there. And we're like, "We got to go to Wall Street." So we walked over to Wall Street. We looked at the entrance of Wall Street, and then I was like, "Oh,
The
the
bull.
financial district. We got to go find the bull." So all of a sudden, we're walking back down towards that way. And then from the bull, we were like, well, let's walk this way. Chinatown's not too far away. Maybe we go to Chinatown today. And we start walking to Chinatown. And we were like, oh, but it's taking us away from the taco place. Now let's go to the taco place. We'll go to Chinatown tomorrow. And then we just shifted and started going the opposite way. And there was no rhyme or reason to the exact path that we took, but we knew what we wanted to see. And we were like, we're just going to pack in as much as we can. And then if we miss something, we miss something.
Yeah, you get it on the next
So
day.
the Statue of Liberty was actually right down the street from where we were. But because we didn't understand how the Staten Island ferry worked, we missed going on that day. Because we could have gone on that day, added that in, but we missed it. So we're like,
Is that
okay.
another pro tip or?
Well, yeah, it's so if you're gonna go down to the 9/11 memorial, do the Staten Island ferry. Don't pay for the tour for the Statue of Liberty because it's not worth it. I mean, unless you want to, it's a 6 hour tour. It takes 6 hours for you to.
Do you get to go into the statue?
You get to go into the bottom of the statue. You would have to buy an extra ticket to get to the top. But they say you have to do it at some point. But if it's your first time visiting, you're gonna miss out on half a day because it takes 6 hours.
Yeah. Wow, 6 hour tour.
Yeah, so you're on the island for 2.5 hours. It takes about an hour to get there and then an hour to get back. So you're looking at like 4.5, 5 hours plus getting everybody together and all that kind of stuff. It's like 6 hours that you need to separate for that time. So we just took the Staten Island ferry. You get on the right side going to Staten Island, and then you get on the left side coming back. That was something that I saw on videos. And you get to see the Statue of Liberty, like, I don't know, 50 yards away. 50, 60 yards away. You saw the pictures. Amazing pictures. And it was just, that was the fill for that. But we did that on the last day, which we'll get to in a minute. But, so we did all of that. And on the way back, there was a bar that Mike had found that he was super excited to go to. Now, mind you, this is at the end of us. Like, we're probably at like 12 miles at this point. I'm dead. I was like, let's go back to the hotel. If you want to go out, you go out by yourself. I'm dead.
No.
I didn't tell him that, but like, this is how I'm feeling at this point.
Wow. For
Okay?
you to be dead.
Yeah.
I would have died a long time ago.
We had already made plans as to what we were going to eat, how we were going, all that kind of stuff. And because you're walking so much, you could eat whatever I lost weight. Right? And let me tell you, you saw the pictures of what we ate.
I know.
We ate so much food, so much pizza, so many tacos, so many, we ate a lot.
Sandwich.
The chopped cheese, man, let me tell you something. Changed my life. Anyways, so we went and we did all this different stuff.
So he tells you about this bar.
So he tells me about this bar, and I'm like, not today. I'm like, it's like forever and a mile over that way.
But what about the trains?
So we were like, let's see how we can get there with the train. Let's use the train. The problem was, so the trains run north and south.
And do they run 24 hours?
East and west.
Or do they shut down?
They reduce after,
But you can travel at any time.
Mm-hmm. So we were like, we'll just take the train. And we had no idea what we were doing with the train. So this is where we started to learn about how the train works. It's letters and numbers. You got to get the right letter. You got to get the right number. Otherwise, you're not going to go to the right place. So we're like, oh, we've got to take this specific train to get there. And this is how it's done. You got to go to 7th Street off of Broadway. So we start looking around. Mind you, we walked the entire way to the bar, not knowing.
Why?
Because we couldn't figure out the train. We didn't stop to figure it out. We were like, we're gonna figure it out as we go. We were looking at the map and we're like, oh, no, it's not this one, it's the next one. And what we figured out afterwards was we could have gotten into the first one and taken the train. It would have dropped us off right over there. Mind you, that's stuff that you learn. Mm-hmm. So Mike and we got a little bit of nods because at this point I'm exhausted. I'm tired. It's been a long day. He's exhausted. He's tired. It's been a long day. And I was like, bro, you're killing me. Like, I'm done. Like, let's go back to the hotel. I'm finite. And he's like, I really want to go. I was like, okay, let's go. And I had been injured a few weeks before with my calf. Mm-hmm. At 4:00 in the morning on Friday, I didn't say this, I went running back into the house really quick, and there's a hole.
Can't our landscaper?
No, I need to refill it because that's the thing.
Can't our landscaper refill it?
Let's not talk about what we need to do in the front. As I'm running back in, I misstep in that hole. Now, it's not a huge hole. It's not like a 4-foot drop. It's like...
Yeah, but it's still enough for a little misstep.
A little misstep hole. Mm-hmm. And I hurt myself again. I feel the same pull on that muscle. And I'm like...
Really? Literally before you're taking off.
Right before this trip. So now I'm doing all this walking. I'm pushing through it because I do not want Mike to feel like I'm dragging. And I'm like... I did not want that to be a thing. We get to this bar. We walk into the bar. He lights up. It's such a cool bar. I'm taking you when we go. It's that amazing. So it's a themed bar. It's owned by Tim Burton.
It's owned by him?
Yeah. Well, I think he was the original owner. I think it has a different owner now.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Oh
But
my gosh. I don't think I've ever yawned on the chat. Have I ever yawned?
We already talked about this. There's an episode about it. All the yawning.
Oh boy.
So
I already forgot the name of this episode.
A droopy kind of thing or something.
A droopy kind of thing. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
So we walk into the bar. It's called the Beetle House. Look it up. Super cool. And when we walk in, it's themed with all the Tim Burton movies.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of stuff up on the wall.
Even the Corpse Bride
everything.
And all that stuff. Really?
There's stuff all over the place. It's all themed.
Wow. Right? So the drinks are named after movies or whatever?
Named after the guys from the movies and different people from the movies. And I need to use the bathroom, right?
You need to go now?
No.
Oh.
When I get to the bar.
Oh, in the bar. Okay. All right.
Right? And Mike is like, hurry because I need to go. Mind you, it had been probably 4 hours since we had found a bathroom, and we had dinner. We drank some drinks. Like, we were ready to. So I go straight to the bathroom before we even order any drinks at the bar. And
Miracle, they let you use the bathroom.
Well, we were in the bar, so I go to open the door, and the attendant or the guy who's like servicing the bar or whatever, he's like, "Oh wait, not yet. There's somebody in there." And I was like, that's kind of weird that this guy's standing here waiting. The door opens up and out comes a guy dressed up as Edward Scissorhands. Okay? He's part of the bar where they dress up, and it's Edward Scissorhands with the whole scissors, and like he talks to me in character. Freaking cool. Like really, really cool. And I go into the bathroom. And I come out and I'm like excited to go tell Mike, there's got to be some like this guy's going to come out. And when I go over there, Edward Scissorhands is sitting with Mike where Mike is sitting and he's having a conversation with him.
What?
Yeah, right. So we start interacting, and there's conversation there, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I forgot her name. What's the Beetlejuice's girlfriend, or the not his girlfriend, the girl.
The girl that he
Yes, with the
that
red
he
with the red
marries.
dress. Yes. Oh my goodness, what is her name?
Mary.
No,
It's not Mary?
no. Look it up. You do Google while I talk about it.
All right.
So all of a sudden, she comes out of another room in the back, and she grabs a microphone and starts singing. Right, and she's just having this full on like concert singing.
Lydia?
Lydia.
Okay.
Right? She starts singing, having this full on concert there at the and this little like small stage thing that they have. While Edward Scissorhands is walking on this side talking, and he's like elbow bumping, right? Because he can't fist bump because he's got scissors, right? And he's like having conversations and whatever. And through the door comes Beetlejuice. This guy dressed up, and he's like doing his whole thing, right? Being rude to people, saying stuff the way that Beetlejuice would act, and then he goes over there and he grabs Lydia and he puts her under the spell, like in the movie. So he's like moving her, and she's like moving with him, and like all that kind of stuff. And then Edward Scissorhands goes and he grabs the mic and he goes singing, and he comes to our table, and I'm singing with him, and Mike's singing with him, and everything's going on. Like, it just became this,
What?
like, yeah, it became...
Bro, they would put that mic in my face and I wouldn't know what to sing.
Well, the song that they were singing was a known song. I can't tell you what it is right now, but it was known. And so all of a sudden, this whole show is happening, right? While we have our drinks, before we even ordered our drinks. And I looked at Mike and I was like, this was worth it. So cool. We go to order our drinks. Okay. I ordered like the Tim Burton iced tea or something, and it was just like plays on them. And when you get these drinks, they have dry ice in them, so they're like spilling over with smoke, and it's like just like cool.
Yeah.
Like really
Potions.
amazing potions. And like we took a shot of it's like a poison shot is what they call them or whatever, and it's like their own like mix, and it's like illuminated, so it looks like it's like radioactive.
Wow.
You know, like they just had like this like really cool fun stuff. And we were there only for like an hour and a half or so, and we just like, it was so cool. We got there late, so we ended up closing the bar, you know, with them. And then
so they close early.
yeah, so the performers ended at 10:30 and the bar closed at 11. So
so something to get there a little earlier.
Yeah, it was something to get there a little bit earlier and be able to enjoy it a little bit. They had food on the menu. They had
Really?
Yeah, full food menu and all that kind of stuff, because it's a restaurant bar kind of thing. So anyways, that's how we ended our day. And on the way, we just...
Oh, no.
You good?
Oh, my God.
So we ended up walking back that night as we're heading back over, and Mike's like, do we stop at Times Square? And I'm like...
What?
At this point, I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah.
Fudge.
Like, okay, let's go. And we ended up... I forgot what it was. Oh, I told him, like, the only way we're going to Times Square tonight is we're going to look for dessert.
I was just going to ask you for ice cream.
Yeah. So I told him, we need to go and look for dessert. That's what we're doing. And I'm like, I want some cheesecake. So let's go find some cheesecake. So we start walking through Times Square. We find a cheesecake place. Amazing cheesecake. So good that we went back the next day.
Wow.
And got cheesecake a second day. Okay. Then, long story short,
Bro, I'm sorry.
Finally make it back to the hotel that night, and we crashed hard. This is Saturday. Okay, go. What were you gonna say? So this is Saturday. We crashed hard. Like, ridiculous. The next day we had plans to go to the Natural Museum of Science. No, that's not the right name. We screwed up the name.
The Museum of Natural History.
That one. Mm-hmm. And so they opened up at 10 o'clock in the morning. We were like, yeah, we're gonna be there early. We didn't get there till 12:30. That's how bad it was. That's how like knocked out we were.
Oh, it's because you were asleep.
Oh yeah, we were dead. We were dead.
So what time did you wake up?
I want to say it was like 9:30.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But we were like, oh, we'll just grab breakfast, and then there was just no way. We just weren't gonna get there. We weren't gonna get there for breakfast, and we just like, I don't know what we're gonna do. That's when we had the chopped cheese from one of the cart vendors, which was absolutely incredible. And then we went to the museum. We were there for 5.
I was talking about Cat's Deli sandwich.
Oh no, that's Monday. We were there for 5 hours in the museum. Not enough time. You have to be there at rope drop and spend. There's 5 floors. We did not know that it was that much.
Wow.
It was just so many things to see.
And this is from the movie Night at the Museum.
Yeah. So it's right across the street from.
And how funny
Central
that I
Park.
had texted you and I said, one thing I want to do with you. And you're like, we're going there tomorrow.
Well, that was one of the things Mike wanted to do.
Mike, I'm so happy.
Yeah. So we got to see like the big tiki guy from the movie. And we got to see, I got a picture. Wow, Mike has to send it to me because I haven't shown it to you. I got a picture with the general. What's his name?
Let me see.
Theodore Roosevelt. That's so I got a picture with him. So we got kicked out of the museum.
Did you see Sacagawea?
No.
Because remember he was in love with Sacagawea?
She was not. I did not see her.
Because you probably missed it.
We probably missed it.
Wait, you got kicked out?
Yeah. They closed it and they were like, everybody out. They had security guards. Like they were walking arm by arm. It looked like a riot, like the riot police. They were kicking everybody out. And so we leave the thing and we go across the street, go into Times Square, into the Central Park. We walk Central Park towards the bridge looking for the bridge from Home Alone, the one in New York. Mm-hmm. So with the pigeon lady, and we go on the way there. We find this beautiful like lake with people like in rowboats and like all kinds of stuff. It looked like.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you rent them and then you use them. So it's like, it's out of the movies. The whole thing was out of the movies. And then as we're walking by, I'm like, I look at a big old fountain and I'm like, what is that fountain? And Mike's like, I don't know. That looks familiar. And we look it up and it's the fountain from John Wick, which then had us think, we're like, oh, the hotel from John Wick. So we looked that up and we went the next day to go see the hotel from John Wick. But like we went down to the Park Avenue Hotel, which was in the movie. And then next
to it. The
Plaza,
you didn't see the Plaza?
The Plaza, that one. That's the Plaza Hotel.
Okay.
And then we went to, right down the street
Sopranos,
from it.
That's where they would stay. That's where they would do their girls'
Oh,
day.
that's right.
Remember?
That's right. Right behind the Plaza is the Louis Vuitton building. The building is it's like wrapped. It looks like Louis Vuitton
purse?
Like a purse.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Trump Tower is right next to it. And there was a couple other like stores and stuff that were right close by. And we ended up doing that. And then after that, we decided to go back to like Times Square and hang out there again.
I feel like listening to you talk about your trip to New York, I feel that even for somebody who's, that's not really on my radar to go, it sounds so exciting that I feel that it would become that sounds like a trip I want to go to.
It was a lot of fun. Like the next day we woke up and, we had a flight that afternoon and we had a plan to go and do certain things. And our flight got moved and there was other things that ended up happening and we ended up getting the full day. And we ended up going to the Statue of Liberty that day. And we ended up going to Chinatown. We had lunch at at Uncle Lou's, which is famous, right across from Little Italy. We went back through Little Italy. We went through, like, we got to see the city not as a tourist. We got to see the city as people there. And what we learned was, like, you quickly will know who's from New York and who's not. Because the people from New York are fast and hard all the time. The people who are visiting are like in La La Land. But like, even like when we went to go eat, like the taco place, Los Tacos #1, we ate there 3 times. I think we would have eaten there 5 times.
Wow.
If we could. But we wanted to eat other stuff. But the food was so good. It was so fast. But there's no chairs. You don't sit. It's all standing up, like, eating spots. And it's just like little itty bitty spots, enough for you to put your plate. You eat, you go. And you could see the people, like, people would get, 2 or 3 tacos. They service you really, really fast, give it to you on a plate. You go put your sauce from this, like, little, like, sauce bar. Boom, boom, boom. Go right over to where you're going to eat. And you're like, throw it away. People would wipe down and leave. And the next person was already right behind you, ready to take your spot. And it was just this, like, constant movement of stuff, and everything was moving, and like it was a different world. It was a different world. Not something that I would say I could live in that.
Yeah, but I see Mike living there.
Oh yeah, no, he was sold. I'm surprised he even got back on the plane. Like it was just so cool to see, like, the difference. And when I say it's different, it's literally like a different world. And there was, like, different worlds within the world. Because, like, when we were walking through Central Park, there's a spot where you get into Central Park and you look around and you don't see the buildings anymore.
Wow.
The buildings are gone.
Wow.
It is.
And you didn't even go to the Friends experience.
No, there's a lot that we missed. Like, you start looking back and there's so much.
Because I was looking at our hotel and I see that it's very,
it's, like,
very
right
close.
There.
The Friends
we knew where it was.
I don't know what it is. What
you go
can
in
expect.
and they have all the set. Like, you walk through and you see it. It's actually really, really cool.
Wow.
And we didn't do any shows.
Right.
We didn't do any of that. Like, we didn't do any of that stuff, which I know that experience for us is going to be different. And I know for you and for me, we're going to use the subway. And that's something that we got really, really good at on that next day. The subway, like, we were up on the Monday. Man, we took the subway up and down and left and right.
Because it
and
obviously saved you time
Oh,
to be able to do more.
so much time. And, like, now knowing, I know that I can plan. We could probably do 2 days of what we did, Mike and I. We could probably do it in 1 day using the subway.
And so I know that your flight was canceled on Monday because of the weather.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, did you ever make it to the airport, or did you not even have to waste the time?
No, we didn't. We
you
didn't.
were told that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were probably 4 hours before having to head to the airport.
Oh, okay.
And then I got the message saying that the flight was canceled and that they were going to try and figure out what's the best option for us. Mm-hmm. And their next option was 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. And at that point, we didn't have a hotel because we had already checked out. And we had to look for a hotel. We had to
And thankfully, there was one that was found that you felt was even more central.
Which was even better. And I told you, I go, that's the place where you need to hook up for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it was just, the whole experience was very different. One, because it was with Mike, and it was...
What an experience for him, though,
it was
right?
definitely something different. Like, I don't know that
the
there's...
bonding and just the memories that you guys have. Like, I feel like
we
you haven't stopped.
The thing
texting.
The thing is, we weren't in a hurry. So, like, when we went into the park, like, we just sat on a bench. And we just sat there and we talked and we just had good conversation. We spent like 45 minutes to an hour in one of the spots, and we just talked about stuff and watched people walk by and the diversity of the people and the characters that were around, and I'm not saying like movie characters. I'm talking about people or characters.
Yeah.
And like the typical like, oh, New York is dirty. Oh, New York smells. Oh, that kind of stuff.
I thought that was Jersey.
Listen,
No disrespect to Jersey, but
I didn't feel that. On
and you even told me they were so nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. On Saturday night, going into Sunday morning, the Times Square area was their trash night. So, like, you did smell a little bit of the trash stuff like when it came out, but the trash was all in like black bags. It was all closed up. Everything was, it was sitting in piles on the street, right? Because the buildings would take everything out and put it out there for the trash to come through in the morning. And I even looked at it and I told Mike, I was like, there's no way that they cleaned this up in one night. And the next morning, on Sunday morning, when we went through, clean as a whistle. Like, and the streets were always like very, fairly picked up. Like, there was no trash. People are animals. There was stuff everywhere sometimes, but it wasn't dirty.
Right.
Yeah. And we walked through there was a couple spots that we walked through that were a little bit shady. I didn't even talk about Cat's Deli, but like walking to Cat's Deli, there was a little spot there where it was a little bit shady, and I was like, where are we walking through? But there was it's middle of the day. I wouldn't go there at night, but like, it's like anywhere. Like where we live now, you go 2 miles down the road over to one side, and it's not a great place.
Yep.
You won't catch me there at night. It doesn't mean that I live in a bad place. It's just those areas are there.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. We had such a good time. It was such a different experience. And it'll be a different experience when you and I go.
I'm just I was over the moon for him, that he was able to have this with you. I think in his mind, it was something that was never going to happen anymore. Mm-hmm. It was done. He missed his train, and that's it. So I feel that even up to that happening, there was a big storm that was going on during that time, and I was afraid of, what if your flight gets canceled, and it's American Airlines is very notorious for canceling flights, so for that to happen. And then your leg thing had happened. And then that morning you said, I tweaked my leg again. And I was like, oh God, so there was just, I felt the weight of this has to happen and this has to go through, because I don't think he would have been able to take the letdown a second time. The first time it was, when you talk about something being out of your control, I mean, you're talking about a global pandemic.
Right.
That God only knows, had you both gone anyway, would you be sent back in a box?
Yeah.
If I was so lucky, so many people, that was ground zero.
Yeah.
I mean, so what an amazing, amazing trip. And think about this. It's kind of like we christened the start of summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we just christened the start of summer with our trips and everything. We've got amazing stuff coming up for you and myself. And we were just talking with my sisters that in 3 months, everything's going to be pumpkin flavored.
Yeah. Time flies.
Wow. And that's why we live life now. That's why we travel now. That's why we have the experiences now, because who's to say that when we finally retire, we're going to have the energy to walk Times Square the way that you just did that right now.
No way.
So.
Oh, baby.
So, as we wrap up, for next week, we're going to have another Q&A episode. But this time, it's not going to be a marriage Q&A. It's going to be a parenting Q&A.
And this was by request.
This was so cool. So, I think that we've mentioned before that we were very young parents. I mean, our son was born when we were 19. So there is a lot of different things that we've experienced, things that Maybe we've done a certain way because we were young parents. But I know that there's a lot of questions just from what I've been hearing and everything. So send us your questions. You can post them. How? How would
We'll do the
people
same thing.
post them?
I'll do a post on Instagram.
Okay, and then you post your questions right there.
Post your questions right at the bottom,
and then we'll read them.
Yeah, and then we'll
So
read them.
you've got pretty much a week from today. Well, no, because you're listening to us on Thursday, so we'll be recording in a few days. That's right. But what we'll do is that actually you
We'll
will
do the
have
post
already
already.
seen the post. Yes. So you will have already seen the
So
post.
I'll put the post today.
Oh, that's
I'll
good.
put the post today.
Yeah,
which is
so
Sunday.
you've got a week.
So you have a week.
So you've got a week to send us your questions.
You have a week in the past. So now we're going back to the future.
Yeah. Another Broadway musical we're going to.
Yes.
Yeah, so send us as many questions as you like. And we'll see where that leads.
Yep, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. And I want to say, let me just verify this, but I want to say that this episode would be fairly close to Father's Day.
Oh,
I want to say Father's Day is on the 22nd. Is it on the 22nd or is it the 15th? So Father's Day's the 15th. So we're going to be recording on Father's Day. Honey.
Is it?
On the 15th of June is Father's Day. So we'll be recording this parenting episode on Father's Day. That's pretty cool. We've never done anything special for Father's Day, I feel.
Nope.
Everything gets done for Mother's Day. So.
Yep. All right.
If I was out of frame at some point in this episode, I just want to say I caught myself right here looking at you like this, and I was like, how long have I been sitting like this?
We're not talking about that. All right, that's the end of the episode.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for sticking with us.
That was like a lot.
2 hours and 2 minutes. That was a good episode. So,
and crackers.
Anything else?
That's it.
No?
Send us your questions.
Send us your questions. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell all the peoples. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for just listening to us ramble, because that's what this is. The This and That Chat is a rambling episode, a rambling podcast. I think this is our 100th episode.
Stop.
Wait a
that
second.
better not be our 100th episode, because for that, we were going to have confetti and little...
Hold on. Wait a second.
No.
Bro, I hope it's not.
I hope it's not.
Hold
We're going to
on.
have to save
Hold
this
on.
episode then.
Hold on.
Stop. Please say it's next week.
Let's see.
That would be amazing.
This is our...
Plot twist, it's our 78th episode, and we're super far from 100.
We are.
Wait, what is it? If it's 78, we're going to go play that number right now.
79. This
No.
is 80. This is our 80th episode.
Whoa, I was so close.
Yeah.
I was so close.
That's what it was. I knew it was a round
we've got to
number.
do something fun for our 100th birthday.
I knew it was a round number, but I couldn't remember.
100. It's not our 100th birthday.
No.
All right.
So we've got 20 weeks before
Yeah. All right.
we'll do
something.
We'll be figuring it out till then.
Oh my gosh.
I knew it was a round number, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Okay, it's showing again. I love you.
Goodbye. You don't even get an I love you from me.
Remember after last week.
What? What?
I can't hear you.
Yeah. Goodbye now. See you next week.